console hums, a low thrum against the backdrop of an abandoned substation. The air carries the faint, acrid tang of ozone and stale coffee, mingling with the ghost of nicotine. Hand-labeled vinyl records stack precariously, reflecting the neon glow of a single tube lamp, the color of a fresh bruise.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
In Ballard Estate, we're reading 83 degrees Fahrenheit with light rain shower. Winds are moving from the west at 15 miles per hour. Strangers in their own land, Mexicans deported from Trump's America, find refuge in Little LA. Our first signal tonight traces the profound dislocation of identity, where the very land beneath one's feet feels foreign despite ancestral ties.
Under the Trump administration, over 1.4 million individuals were deported to Mexico, many of whom were U.S.-raised, creating a new challenge in cities like Tijuana's Little L.A. These deportees, often English-dominant, face critical barriers to employment and social integration, exposing a deep fracture in binational identity. A viable alternative would have been robust legal aid and asylum processing, ensuring due process before forced removal.
It's a modern-day reverse migration, but without the hopeful myth of return. Imagine a generation raised on American pop culture, now feeling like specters in their ancestral homeland, caught between two worlds, like a ghost in a foreign mirror.
Our immediate move involves empowering community-led initiatives in these border cities, like the Casa de Migrante program in Tijuana, focusing on digital literacy and entrepreneurial microgrants. This builds a resilient inner architecture, not just survival, but thriving on their own terms.
Patching in a caller the skeptic. You're on the signal.
Good evening. This sounds like an immense human cost. Who is responsible for funding these reintegration efforts? Is it solely Mexico's burden, or does the U.S., having initiated the deportations, have a moral or even economic obligation here?
Your question cuts to the core of provenance, caller. The true cost extends beyond national budgets, impacting the very dignity of these individuals. From this specific displacement, we now shift our lens to global power plays. Concerns grow over increased global ties with Taliban in Afghanistan. Our next vector highlights the uncomfortable alliances forming globally, challenging the bedrock principles of human rights and self-determination.
Since the August 2021 withdrawal, several nations, including China and Russia, have pursued economic and diplomatic engagement with the Taliban, seeking access to Afghanistan's estimated $1 trillion in mineral resources, particularly lithium. This normalizes a regime that has systematically dismantled women's rights and suppressed dissent, exposing the Afghan populace, especially women and minorities, to continued oppression without international recourse. A clear alternative would be a unified global diplomatic front conditioned on verifiable human rights improvements.
This global embrace of the Taliban feels like a cynical reenactment of historical great games, where a nation's soul is traded for strategic minerals or regional influence. It's a tragic echo, where the cries for dignity are muted by the clinking of prospecting tools.
To counter this, we must build resilient civic architectures from outside. Our immediate next step is to amplify and directly support independent Afghan media outlets, like the Rukshana Media Collective, and diaspora advocacy groups using secure, distributed networks. This ensures the architectural signal of human rights is never fully silenced, even under duress.
Patching in a caller. Go ahead.
I understand the moral dilemma, but isn't there a practical argument for engagement? If dialogue can prevent a complete humanitarian collapse or regional destabilization, isn't that a necessary evil? What's the cost of isolation versus conditional engagement?
The cost, caller, is measured in the erosion of consent and the legitimacy granted to systems lacking provenance. We practice sharp discernment to separate toxic residue from architectural signal. Now let's pivot from geopolitical maneuvers to the very foundation of urban life. How New Zealand's biggest city solved its housing crisis. Our final signal tonight focuses on the blueprints of belonging within our cities, asking who gets to build and who gets to call a place home. A faint echo of distant thunder rolls through the substation, a low rumble beneath the hum of the tubes. We'll be right back after this brief interlude.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at TogeeVision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.